Some children grow up in big houses. Some grow up surrounded by expensive things. I grew up in a bakery. Every morning before sunrise, the sound of trays, mixers, and ovens filled the air. The smell of fresh bread wrapped around the street like a warm blanket. That bakery was my mother's whole world. She built it from nothing. When people slept, she worked. When people rested, she kept going. And somehow, no matter how tired she was, she always smiled when customers walked in. "This place gave us a life," she used to say. And she protected it with everything she had. But life became harder as the years passed. Bills increased. Ingredients became expensive. Customers slowly stopped coming. Then came the final blow. Debt. I still remember the night she sat alone inside the dark bakery after closing time. No lights. No sound. Just silence. For the first time in my life, I saw defeat in her eyes. A few weeks later, the doors closed for good. The sign came down. The ovens turned cold. And just like that, the place that raised me disappeared. But while everyone else accepted the ending, I couldn't. After the bakery closed, people acted like it was just another failed business. "Move on," they said. "It's over." Even my brother didn't care much. In fact, he was almost relieved. He always believed the bakery was a burden. A waste of time. "This place held us back," he once said. But every time I heard that, something inside me hurt. Because to me, the bakery wasn't a burden. It was family. It was sacrifice. It was love. One evening, I stood outside the empty building, staring through the dusty windows. And quietly, without telling anyone, I made myself a promise. One day, I'll rebuild this place. At the time, it sounded impossible. I had no money. No business experience. No support. Just a dream nobody believed in. But sometimes, the most powerful promises are the quiet ones. The ones made when nobody is watching. Rebuilding the bakery didn't happen quickly. It took years. Years of exhausting jobs. Years of saving every extra dollar. Years of hearing people say, "You should give up." Sometimes I almost did. There were nights I stared at my small savings and realized it still wasn't enough. There were moments I questioned everything. What if I failed too? But every time doubt appeared, I remembered my mother's hands covered in flour, and the pride in her eyes when the bakery was alive. So I kept going. Slowly, the impossible started becoming real. The building was repaired piece by piece. Old equipment was cleaned and fixed. Walls were painted. Lights were replaced. And after years of silence, the ovens turned on again. I'll never forget that moment. The warmth returned first. Then the smell. Fresh bread filled the air once more. It felt like the bakery had taken its first breath after being asleep for years. Opening day was emotional. I expected customers. I expected stress. But I wasn't prepared for my mother's reaction. When she walked through those doors again, she froze. The bakery looked alive. Warm lights. Fresh pastries. People smiling. For a moment, she just stood there silently, staring at everything. Then tears filled her eyes. Not loud crying. Just quiet tears that said more than words ever could. "I thought I lost this forever," she whispered. That moment made every difficult year worth it. Not the money. Not the success. That moment. Because I realized something important. Sometimes rebuilding a dream isn't about business. Sometimes it's about giving someone back a piece of their heart. And for the first time in years, my mother smiled the way she used to. But while we were rebuilding memories, my brother was seeing something else. Money. As the bakery became popular again, attention started growing. People loved the story behind it. Customers returned. Business improved. Then one day, my brother suddenly became interested in the bakery again. At first, he acted supportive. Too supportive. Then came the real reason. Developers wanted the property. And they were offering a huge amount of money. My brother walked in confidently one afternoon with papers in his hand and a smile on his face. "We should sell," he said casually. "This is our chance." Our. That word bothered me immediately. Because when the bakery was dying, he wanted nothing to do with it. When my mother cried herself to sleep, he wasn't there. When I spent years rebuilding it, he never helped once. But now that it had value, suddenly it became ours. Then came the moment everything changed. I quietly placed the ownership documents in front of him. His smile disappeared instantly. He stared at the papers in silence. The bakery legally belonged to me. Not him. Not anyone else. Me. And for the first time in his life, he realized he had no control over it. The room became painfully quiet after that. My brother looked shocked. Angry. Embarrassed. But I felt calm. Because the decision had already been made long ago. The bakery was never for sale. Not because of money. But because some things are worth more than money. That building carried my mother's sacrifices. Her sleepless nights. Her pain. Her love. You can't put a price on that. Yes, the developers offered a fortune. But they only saw land and walls. I saw memories. I saw the little kid who used to sit in the corner eating warm bread before school. I saw my mother working through exhaustion just to give us a better life. I saw the dream everyone thought was dead, breathing again. And I realized something important. The bakery didn't just survive. We did. Now every morning, before sunrise, the lights turn on again. The ovens warm up again. The smell of fresh bread fills the street again. And every single time it happens, it feels like hope returning home.
Before you go, if this story touched your heart even a little, Red Heart Hash, please take a moment to subscribe to Heart Touching Tales Hub. Your support means more than you can imagine. Every story we share is made to inspire, heal, and connect hearts like yours. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a story that could change your day or even your life. Thank you for being part of our journey. Dizzy.